Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me in practice today. Today's class is going to be fast-paced, energetic, but fun, requiring a little bit of strength, mobility, and flexibility. So standing at one end of the mat, let's start to draw the hands upwards, gaze up on an inhale, and as you exhale, sweep the hands from front or side coming into a forward fold. Continue like that for 2 or 3 more times using that same breathing pattern. And as you end in a full forward fold, keeping a little bend in the knees and palms on the mat. Begin to nod the head up and down and side to side, almost looking like you're saying yes and no. Alright, now plant the palms and let's start to pedal the feet out here while linking breath with movement, waking up the legs. Every time you exhale, bend one knee. Now press the palms firmly into the mat and hop a step back to plank pose, lowering the body completely on the mat. Inhale as you come into an upward facing dog with the knees on the mat. Exhale as you come into child's pose. Do a few more here, linking the same breath with the movement. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale as you land yourself in child's pose. And ending in downward facing dog. Choose to pedal the feet here or stay static. Once again, exhaling every time a knee bends and lengthening the opposite knee, opening up the hamstrings. Perfect. Inhale, right leg goes up for one-legged dog. And as you exhale, step that foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale and on an exhale, sit on the left side for a side lunge. You can keep the hands on the knee here or in prayer position in front of the chest. Now shift the body to the left side, coming into a lunge position. Take the left leg onto the right leg for a side plank. Awesome. Perfect. Now rotate the front body to the mat, coming into plank and then downward facing dog. Let's move on to the left leg. So inhale, your left leg comes up for one-legged dog. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale and on an exhale, side lunge to the right. Now shift the body to the right for a lunge position and then take the right leg onto the left leg coming into side plank. Stay here for a breath. And coming back into plank, let's move through a modified vinyasa. So exhale, drop the entire body down. Inhale, knee on the mat in upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here. Inhale, right leg goes up for one-legged dog. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale and on an exhale, sit completely down onto the left side for a low side lunge, Skandasana. Hands in prayer or on the floor for support. Or your left hand can go around the left knee and the right fingers interlock with the left fingers. You can also feel free to use a strap here. Keep the chest open and breathe. Perfect. Plant the palms and now rotate the body to the left side, coming into a lunge position. Take the left leg onto the right leg for a side plank like we did earlier. But now gently and with control, start to bend the knee on top, lifting it off support for a balancing pose. Take a full breath here and gaze at one point. Keep the core engaged for stability. Release. Now rotate the front body to the mat, coming into a high plank and and then downward facing dog. This time, inhale, left leg goes up for one-legged dog. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, and on an exhale, skandasana or low side lunge. Hands remain in prayer or on the floor for support, or you can come into that bind that we did earlier. Remember to keep the chest open and breathe. Awesome. Rotate the body to the right side now into a lunge position. And take the right leg onto the left leg for a side plank. And then gently and with control start to bend the knee on top, lifting it off support for a balancing pose. Remember, your gaze and your core, which should be engaged, is what will help you in being stable. Perfect. Release. Come back into plank position and let's move through our Vinyasa. You can choose a modified version we did earlier if you like, or exhale, come down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And take a few breaths here. If you feel downward facing dog isn't your resting position, please feel free to rest in child's pose. Alright. Now if you're in child's pose, stand up to downward facing dog, and on an inhale, your right leg goes up for one-legged dog. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, and on an exhale, sit completely down on the left side for a low lunge. Hands in prayer on the floor or come into that bind. And now, see if you can keep that bind while bringing the right leg in line with the left, coming into Marichasana A. Choose to stay high in this position, or you can start to fold forward, staying for a full breath. Now see if you can plant only the right palm on the floor outside the right leg for support. Lift and take the right leg back, coming into somewhat of a revolved side angle or runner's lunge. Left hand goes up to the sky, stay for a breath. And on an exhale, firm on the right palm and take the left leg back for a side plank. This time we are bending the left knee and opening the leg out, toes towards the ceiling or facing diagonally. Left hand can either go up to the sky or you can keep it on your waist. Balance and keep strong and release. Perfect. Come back into plank and let's move through our Vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Once you are in downward facing dog, catch your breath here and we will repeat all of this onto the other leg. You can feel free to pause the video here if you like, take a break and then come back whenever you're ready. Or let's move on to the other side. Inhale, left leg goes up for one-legged dog. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, and on an exhale, sit completely down for Skandasana. Hands in prayer, on the floor for support, or come into that bind. Staying here for a breath. Now see if you can keep that bind while bringing the left leg in line with the right, coming to Marichasana A. Once again, choose to stay high or start to fold forward, staying for a full breath. One side is always more mobile and flexible, or stronger than the other most times. So feel free to practice, listen to your body and slow down when you need to. Choose props. Props are a great way to start off with. So you can use a strap here as well. Now plant only the left palm on the floor, outside the left leg for support. Lift and take the left leg back, coming into somewhat of a revolved side angle or runner's lunge. Right hand up to the sky. Stay here for a breath. And on an exhale, firm on the left palm and take the right leg back for a side plank. This time, bending the right knee and opening the leg either towards the ceiling or facing diagonally, whatever's comfortable for you here. Right hand goes up to the sky or stays on the waist. Focus. And release. Moving through our Vinyasa and meeting in downward facing dog. Once again, when you're in downward facing dog, you can either stay there for a few breaths or land yourself in child's pose and stay there for a little rest. We have one more set to go. This is going to be our last set. And this set tests balance and focus, which I'm out of today myself. So be patient and pick yourself back up if you fall. It's absolutely fine. Take your own time and do this as per your comfort. Now coming to downward facing dog, on an inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, hop or step to Malasana. Now your palms here can either be on the floor or near the chest in prayer position, using the elbows to push the knees outward. This is going to be our first variation in Malasana. Perfect. Now open out the right hand towards or on the floor for support. Elbow still placed inside the knee, and the opposite hand reaches up to the ceiling with the gaze. Open the chest to the left side. This would be our second variation. Now the third variation, bring the right hand for a bind around the right knee. Elbow still stays inside the knee. And interlocking with the left hand, you can either stay here or start to lift off the right leg without losing the bind by taking support of the left leg, by bringing it closer first to the right and then lifting off strong. Straighten the body, stand tall. Once again, all the binds can be done with a strap as well. Beautiful. Now let's take that right foot on the left knee and sitting low into a chair squat on an exhale. Here you can keep your hands in prayer position. Take a full breath here. Inhale and now take the right leg back. Toes facing forward, hinging at the hip, coming into a half or full pyramid pose on an exhale. Now lift the torso, grab the left big toe with the thumb, index and middle fingers, and gently start to rotate the hip and body, coming into a single leg split in side plank on the right side. This does require a little practice, guys. So be aware of your body, see how you feel, how every part feels, and do this as per your comfort and take your time. You can also use this as a video for practice. Keep coming back to it. All right, awesome. Release. Gently bring the leg back down to the previous position, the lunge position, and take the left leg back for a plank. Let's move through our Vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Perfect. Inhale, bend the knees, exhale, hop or step to Malasana. Palms on the floor or near the chest in prayer position, using the elbows to push the knees out, our first variation. And now open out the left hand towards or on the floor for support. Elbows still placed inside the knee and opposite hand reaches up to the ceiling with the gaze. Open the chest to the right side. Beautiful. And the third variation, bring the left hand around the left knee for a bind. Elbow still inside, interlocking with the right hand. You can either stay here or Start to lift off without losing the bind by taking support of the right leg by bringing it closer first to the left and then lifting off strong. Perfect. Let's take the left foot on the right knee and sit down for a chest squat on an exhale. Now inhale and take the left leg back, toes facing forward, hinging at the hip, come into a half or full pyramid pose on an exhale. Now lift the torso and grab the right big toe with the thumb, index and middle fingers and gently start to rotate the hip, coming into a single leg split in side plank on the left. Awesome. Gently bring the leg back to the previous position. And now take the right leg back for plank and moving through our Vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Alright, so before we move into our cool down, you can choose to do all the prior sets. You can probably do 1 or 2 rounds more if you feel you need a little more movement, or you can continue with the cool down by dropping the knees, keeping them wide apart and resting in child's pose. Inhale and exhale, connect with your breath and begin to reduce your heart rate, slow down your breath. Feel your chest expand laterally on every inhale and feel it collapse on an exhale. Gently lifting the torso and coming into a tabletop position, walk the hands a little forward and come into a puppy pose. Aiming to touch the chest to the mat. You don't have to touch it, but that's the aim. If this stretches too much for you, please feel free to place a block or a blanket between your chest and the mat. See that your hips are stacked over the knees and toes tucked or released, whatever's comfortable for you. Breathe here. Perfect. Staying strong on the palms, lift the torso up and release the legs from under you, bringing them into the chest for a nice, tight hug for yourself. Bring your head in between the knees. Perfect. Release the legs and lie down on the mat. Grab the left knee into the chest and drop it out of the right knee, twisting the torso to the left side. We've come into a little bit of a supine twist here. You can keep your left hand stretched out. Perfect. Let's repeat that same stretch onto the right side now. Grabbing the knee in first and then dropping it to the opposite side, and your torso twists to the complete opposite side. Perfect. Release the leg and now fold both knees and begin to come into a happy baby pose. Grab the inner arches of the feet wide, elbows inside the knees, either rock side to side or stay where you are. And gently release. Now Interlock the fingers, lengthen the legs, point the toes, coming into a full body stretch. I want you to imagine somebody pulling your hands towards the opposite side and your legs towards the opposite side. So active stretch, keep stretching out completely and keep breathing here. Don't hold your breath. And release. Now bend the knees and taking a wide distance between the feet, drop the knees inwards towards each other. Palms on the belly or towards the side. Close the eyes, relax and breathe. Connecting with yourself, connecting with your breath. We are come to an end of practice today. Feel free to stay here for as long as you like. I hope you enjoyed practicing with me today. Leave a thumbs up if you like the video. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. I will see you soon. Namaste.